Welcome back to Some Kind of Fun. Yesterday, just so you have context, was Palm Fest. Claire.
I saw a handful of really great sets at Palm Fest.
Which was on July
It was a while
30th.
ago. It was a while ago. It was like a year ago.
Okay.
A month. I don't know. Bermuda Squares had a really great set. Supportive Parents had a really great set. Whiskey Rock and Roll Club had a fantastic set. So did Cindy Lawson.
Awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Paul, any show prior to July 31st did you like recently?
Wow. I was going to talk a little bit about Palm Fest.
Okay.
It, recency bias.
Right.
So I was going to say favorite shows. It was a really good month for Paul, because you had some Flaminos, you had some Suburbs, you had some Silent Treatment, Cindy Lawson, Christy Costello. So I was just going to talk about new bands that I've seen. Mm-hmm. Bermuda Squares is a fabulous band. Spit Takes is a great new band. And I saw a band on the Sunday of Palm Fest called Silo, which I'd never seen before. And I was just like, wow.
What is Silo?
Not punk, just straight ahead rock and roll. Very fun.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Pete? I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No.
Okay.
I was going to say Pete.
Pete,
Don't go to me. I've been out of town. I didn't go to any shows. I am so underprepared for this episode. You have no idea.
Technical difficulties.
For our first set of clips, we have clips from Craig Paquette and the Spartones,
Eric Koskinen.
Caitlin Nicole Thomas.
and Clay Fulton and the Lost 40.
where I'll be. Hold me down, I'm in town and I don't mess around. Gotta find what I need.
Welcome back, everyone. Today with us, we've got Taylor Carrick. You might know Taylor from Whiskey Rock and Roll Club. I don't know if anybody's heard of Whiskey Rock and Roll Club. Do you
Well,
think? Does
the
anybody know
funny
anything
thing
about
about Whiskey Rock and Roll Club is that in the thankless Minneapolis, St. Paul rock and roll underground, everybody has heard of Whiskey Rock and Roll Club. And then outside of that, it's not,
Well, maybe you just need more merch. You need a merch guy, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, we played with you and everyone else at Palm Fest, and it was so funny because I made a joke about how much merch we had, which was, a quarter of the patio space at Palmer's, effectively. And we have all sorts of stuff. I made a joke about being a lifestyle brand. And then people cheered really loudly, and I said, "Well, you're not supposed to cheer for lifestyle brands. Like, what are you doing?" But one of the things about Palm Fest that was so fun for Rock and Roll Club is we're used to, a robust crowd of say 12 to 15 people, and so when you get all of the Palmer's patio kind of excited to be there and engaged in what was happening, I was like, well, I'll riff for however long,
Yeah.
So
Gotta ride that way.
yeah, it was really fun. And but yeah, we also had a good merch day yesterday, so that's good too.
If folks were interested in like engaging in this lifestyle brand you speak
Yeah.
of, how might they go about that?
I just come to our shows. We always have all of our stuff at shows. For people who are watching this and might not know what the level at which we have our merch at this point, it's like we have multiple versions of different types of t-shirts and long sleeve shirts to special designs from a residency to all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of it has been really fun to see who has picked it up and where it's, people would send us photos of our t-shirts like next to the Lemmy statue at the Rainbow in LA, or they'll send us a picture of like Ben Nichols from Lucero at a show in Green Bay and he's got one of our jackets on, or
Cool.
So it's cool to see that stuff
Yeah.
make its way around. And Mark has a joke about how we're like pretty close to being able to not have to play music anymore and just like sell
Just
t-shirts
sell
and jackets
merch,
and stuff. So
The
we're
rare
getting
appearance.
there. Yeah.
Right. So you also have a project
Yes.
called Parishes.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Again, for folks who are familiar with Whiskey Rock and Roll Club, we're a bar band and we're a 3-piece, high gain, sounds like rock. We're very straightforward, very tongue in cheek, but very entertaining. And I think, that's why I think people who are also in bands in the Twin Cities like our music and get excited about it. But when the pandemic happened, I still was making music, but a lot of different types of music.
Okay.
And one thing that I don't really enjoy is recording, because I think we've all had this experience, right? Which is like, you got to get the money, you got to crowdfund your album, you got to go into the studio rehearsed, you get X amount of time to do it, and then you hope your sound is right because there's only so much
Sure.
mixing time and vocal takes. That's a challenge too, where I'm not a trained singer. I don't have that strong of a background in singing, and so recording has just been like a nightmare because it's like you get these 4 takes,
Yeah.
and hopefully they can piece together whatever, and then that's what you're gonna get.
Yep.
And that's what people focus on, when the music comes out. That process it didn't really interest me at all. And so as I was writing more music and different styles of music and playing with different instruments during the pandemic in like 10-minute increments when my kids would go to bed, I would just like track everything I could in my basement. And, it took a year and a half, but as the pandemic lifted a little bit, I had a pile of songs that I just needed like proper vocal recording. And so I went and worked with Brock at Mid-City Studio and got the vocals all taken care of. But again, it was like really like, all right, here's your 20 minutes of singing, and then we're going to see what we can get out of that. And I just don't like that. And it's not to take away from anybody I've worked with, but it's just, sometimes you hear these stories of guys who, like, they live in the studio, all these classic records where it used to be big bands would go on the road for half the year, and then they'd get back, and then they'd record in the studio for half a year. I'm like, how awesome would that be? Yeah, the thing with Parishes that's just been so gratifying, but also a learning process for me is just getting to be at a level where I can just do whatever I want. Mm-hmm. And so, if I'm recording a guitar part, I can just record 200 takes and then use the best take and then just figure out what the best take is and then put it in a bunch of different tracks and add different things in the tracks, and just figuring out some of that production stuff over the last like 4 or 5 years has been really cool. And then that also, because I'm not confined to like the 3-piece band with a live sound, I can just do whatever I want. And it really is sort of like clued me into the concept of a recording artist versus like a live musician. And so it ended up being very exciting because I could do so much different stuff and, play with some electronic drums and mix them with live drums and do whatever.
Kind of a silver lining from the pandemic, right?
Well, yeah. And it's been, it was interesting to talk to other people about their pandemic music. So I just had a really good conversation with Jackie Becky. She was in Brute Heart.
Okay.
And then she moved and is back in town. She's in a band called Florina. And they're very good. And she had a similar kind of thing where it was a lot of musical sort of marination on your own with your computer and your own recordings and that sort of like basement 4-track approach.
So you have an EP.
Yes.
That's out now,
yes,
right?
It's out now.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so great.
It is great.
When are you doing, do you have like a release show coming up?
Well, one thing that's been a real challenge is that, so much like, a lot of the rock and roll bands here, we play in Whiskey Rock and Roll Club a fair amount. I mean, we've played Mortimer's so many times that we have a pizza on the menu.
Yeah,
and
you
so
do. I totally forgot about that.
I don't need to have another band that plays Mortimer's all the time. And so for Parishes, I'm trying really hard to play specific types of shows.
Okay.
Whether it's like a basement party or, we had like there's some talk of us doing a pool party release show where people could just like bring their kids and we could go swimming, and you get the album when you buy your tickets and stuff like that, just because it's really hard to have a new band, quote unquote band, and then get booked at a venue that I'm not already playing all the time.
Okay.
And so, we had a Parishes show opening for a national touring artist at the Turf Club, and it was really exciting because the sound. I think Paul was there to see it, and we had a bunch of local folks come check it out, and it was both of the shows that we've done, live shows, have been very gratifying because it's been people who are excited to hear the music live and people who are like genuinely interested to come see all these people play in this one-off band. The other thing about making a record, because I know you're in the process right now, that's like, it's such a interesting thing, is it can be so anticlimactic because you put so much work into it, and then all of a sudden you're just like, it's out, and then you don't hear anything, and you're kind of like, oh. But I have gotten a couple people being like, oh damn, this is like kind of a crazy record. I'm like, thank you.
Well, it's like
thank
kind
you
of like
for listening to it and sending me a note.
it's like cooking your own 4-course meal. Like by the time you're done, you're like,
yes,
okay, I guess I'll
Yes.
eat. I mean,
I never want to
right?
hear this song again.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to eat the spaghetti that I just spent 2
Right.
hours cooking.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Now you have been involved with Dispatch,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. And the dispatch thing is, so I've worked in and around media for like 20 years, which is really a crazy thing because I'm not that old. So, like when the internet was first coming up, I was like sort of the first wave of new people to be working in media and digital media and stuff like that.
See, that I did not know.
Yeah.
It's like the Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Of like the,
And so when the pandemic hit, and all our sort of print media went away, City Pages went away, and Growler went away, and some other publications. And some friends of mine at First Avenue were like, you're one of the few people that could probably like launch another publication because you've just been doing this stuff for a long time. I was like, God, I don't know if I want to do that, but it was sort of around the same time that I did my first Parishes record. And when I sent an official press release about the Parishes record out, I sent it, and having been in and around media forever, I have everyone's contact in town. And I sent my press release to everybody in the Twin Cities, like, I have a sexy new record you should talk about. There's some top talent that contributed to it. Check it out. And the only 2 people to reply to me out of everybody in the Twin Cities was God bless her, Diane Miller.
Oh, yay.
From
Okay.
the local show on The Current, who's just a champion.
Yeah.
And then also after several different follow-ups, Keith Harris from Racket.
Yep.
And he spelled my name wrong and got the band name wrong. And so then I was like, you know what? Maybe we do need a publication that covers arts and culture.
I'll do it myself.
Yeah, so I'm not proud to be like fueled by resentment, but like, you play punk music, so you know what
I'm
it's
all
like.
about resentment. It's fine. Have you met me?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So I talked to some guys, and they got really excited about it, and we launched it, and it went really well, and a lot of people got excited about it. But a couple things also came with it, which was similar to what I was saying earlier. Is like I was also one of the co-organizers of the Taste of Minnesota's comeback. So this year we relaunched it downtown in Minneapolis as a part of like a dispatch endeavor.
Okay.
And it was hugely successful.
Yeah, you
And,
brought first wrestling in.
Yeah, First Wrestling was one of the best parts about it. We had probably about 100,000 people over 2 days. So it was great, but it also really highlighted a lot of the challenges of the small staff of dispatch, because a lot of people got pulled away from doing dispatch stuff to help with Taste of Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And it really showed that like we needed to sort of scale up the publication, but we couldn't really do that right now, so we just kind of hit pause for the time being.
Okay.
The market is very challenging right now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll come back.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Also, it's like, it's out of work, so I'm okay. People are like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah.
I get a breather.
Yeah, I don't have to send another email today. Like,
Yep.
I will be fine.
Isn't it amazing how much time that consumes?
Yeah.
Wow.
I might go see a movie. Like,
The world is my oyster.
yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us today.
I am so excited you had me on.
We're
I
so
love it
glad
here.
to have you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Taylor Carrick, everyone.
Thank you.
Baby, when I said, oh, baby, come on. Baby, come on. Baby, come on. Baby, baby, when I said, and never live down home in USA. Stop with a simple body every day. Your money ain't get away. Listen to the guitar play.
Down the street, I'm your girl next door. Wow, the fox that you've been waiting for. Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mom. Cherry Mom. Hello, world. I'm your wild girl. Cherry Mom. Stone Age love and strange sounds too. Come on, baby, let me get it to you. Bad nights, causing teenage blues. Get out now, 'cause you got nothing to lose. Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mom. Cherry Mom. Hello, world. I'm your wild girl. Cherry Mom.
Welcome back. It's time for the controversial portion of our program where we debate the issues of the day. This week's and we're doing a little bit different this week. We've got some kind of fun writer's topic and some kind of fun fan topic, audience topic.
Right. And if you have topics that you'd like to suggest to us, we will think about it. Because who knows what you guys come up with.
Yeah. Let's keep it.
We're gonna screen it.
Yeah, let's keep it clean, Dan.
This is a family show.
For a very fun family.
Oh, the best.
Some kind of fun family.
Some kind of fun.
Funnest kind of family.
All right. So the topic that we picked, the good topic, the topic that we picked is what is the most convenient venue? Paul, you had thoughts on this. This was your idea.
Well, I did. We were thinking about parking and everything. And for me right now, the Turf Club is the most convenient. The CVS next door is closed, and they haven't put in a giant condo project yet. And so that parking lot sits there for all the Turf Club patrons to use. And that makes it extremely convenient.
Is that newer?
The which?
Well, having the parking lot open.
Yeah, because it was a CVS.
Right.
And so
When did the CVS close?
When did everybody figure out you could park in the CVS?
Well, I saw no one parking there one night, and I just left my car there, and I've done it ever since. But now, here's the downside. Allianz Field is right there. And those soccer fans know there's free parking there, too, as well. So.
You don't want to mess with hooligans.
No.
Check the soccer schedule before you go.
Claire, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with Palmer's. We just park in the ramp, and it's like a block walk. I will say with the caveat that it's super convenient to get to Palmer's. Getting out of Palmer's is a little trickier because I never want to leave Palmer's, even though I should probably before I do.
I'm still processing that sentence.
It's really like it's hard. Like I've never not had a great time at Palmer's.
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
You never want to leave.
I never want to leave. Right.
You don't have to.
Even
go.
though it's convenient to
Right.
leave.
It's not.
They
yes.
don't stop
like,
you or
right. Like
anything.
personally, it's an inconvenience to me and my fun when I have to leave Palmer's.
So what you would like is 24-hour Palmer's.
Oh, I don't think that would be good for anyone.
Okay.
But like the front part of my brain is like, yes.
I'm trying to.
But then like my executive functioning skills kick in, and
Right, I got you.
I got to be an adult.
Palmer's cannot be the Waffle House
It can no.
because it would be the Waffle House. Type
It
of town.
could.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, it could.
Well,
Pete, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Minneapolis's most famous club, First Avenue and the 7th Street entry. I've been parking in the Dayton's ramp since 1988, and I know exactly where I'm going. So that's why it is most convenient for me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You heard it here first.
That's right.
Now that we've done the good topic, now that we've done the bad topic, let's do the good topic.
All right.
What do you think about shorts on stage?
Not unless you're Dave Russ.
I will say drummers get more latitude for shorts on stage. They're working the hardest.
Okay.
Keeley. Keeley works the hardest.
Keely's not allowed to wear shorts.
I know he's not. But as our pal Robert Wilkinson, I think, said once, this isn't a fucking jam band. No shorts.
Put some shoes on.
Well, I was just going to say Hank Rollins was just in shorts, no shirt, no shoes. So that's
We can't all be Hank. I mean, Hank's Hank for a reason.
Yeah, Hank's well bustled. He can
Yeah.
get away with
Yeah.
it, I guess.
All right. So we're agreed if you don't skip leg day, shorts are okay.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Don, for the topic. And if you've got a topic for next month, let us know. Put it in the comments. Talk to Paul. Email Claire. Send smoke signals to me.
For our third set of clips, we've got Bemidji Snowmen
The Heavy Sixers.
Manias.
and Surly Girly.
Good morning, Captain. Good morning to you, son. Do you need another Bill Skinner? Down on I'm an old mule skinner, New York. Go down Kentucky way. Hey, hey, ha, 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 ha. I can make any blizzards high, or I won't tell you a thing. Just looks cool. Slip away on the outside. I think that's where I'll stay. She don't need it, no way that 'cause I need it, so it's time. Sentimental, the reason satisfied. Kind of lots and lots of the pieces all alright. Like a lots of tan.
Welcome back to Some Kind of Fun. We have Emily B. with us today. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you have a show coming up this week.
Lake Harriet Bandshell
Yeah.
on Wednesday, August 2nd.
Okay.
I guess.
And that's with Rude Girl.
Yes,
Yeah. And you were telling me off air that you used to work at the Bandshell.
I did.
Yeah. When did you start there?
That was my first job. I was 14 and grew up not too far from Lake Harriet and had an opportunity to work there. Went down and applied for a job, and it was one of the best jobs I ever had because it was worked with just a great group of people, and the managers were really into music.
Right.
And so I am already from a musical family, so I had a lot of interest in music already, but that was where I felt like I really kind of found what I loved just on my own. We had a boombox that we would just listen to all these tapes of local music primarily, and other things too, like the Clash. That was where I got my love of the Clash. And so with Rude Girl, we're a female tribute to the Clash. So The Replacements was a big one that,
Yeah.
that we all loved down there. We'd be, end of the night, and we'd be like, take out the trash, not this time. And Soul Asylum, Robin Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Later on was the Gear Daddies was a big one. Run Westy Run. So a lot of those.
Yeah. So what was the first record you bought?
One of the first records I bought on my own. I used to love going to a garage door. And I still have a little 45 of Run Westy Run, Dizzy Road, and that was one that stands out.
So you come from a musical family. Your dad was a replacement,
Yes.
and your mom was a booker at First Avenue.
Yes.
So, what early all ages shows did you first start going to?
A lot of all ages shows. I would feel very fortunate that I got to have the upbringing that I did.
Yeah, Steve.
I got to see Loud Fast Rules.
Okay.
So before they became Soul Asylum or changed their name, and Replacements. Again, I was a huge Replacements fan long
Yeah.
before my dad joined the band. So
Right.
that was really weird for me. They were absolutely my favorite band, and I just listened to those albums over and over and over again.
So that must have been pretty cool when your dad comes home one day and says, "Yeah, I'm a replacement now."
Yeah,
right?
it was. It was very, very surreal.
Yeah.
So I remember when Bob Stinson left the band, and my dad was good friends with Bob Stinson. They worked at First Avenue for a while together, and they just were, pretty close. So I got to meet Bob Stinson, a few times through my dad, and when he left, I was like, I cried. I was like, my favorite band is over. It's I just thought they were going to break up, and then I remember very distinctly that the night my mom came up, I had like kind of an attic room in our house, and she came up there and was like, "You're not going to believe this. Dad's the new Replacement."
Oh, wow.
I was like, what?
That's exciting.
And then
Yeah.
my dad was always downplaying it, like saying, I ruined the band for her, or, saying like that, that must have been so weird. And for me, it was just really exciting. It did change the band for me.
Yeah.
But I was just really proud of him, and
Yeah.
really, it was very, very exciting.
I was reading on your Bandcamp page that you asked your dad to teach you how to play guitar, and he said, "No, you got to learn on your own."
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
Sure. So, I was probably around 16, 17, and was just, huge music fan. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to learn to play guitar. And so I asked him to, show me, if he would show me some stuff. And he's like, well, if you want to learn to play original music, you really just have to figure it out on your own and teach yourself, because that's what I did.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, come on, that's way too hard. I'm not going to do that. How about just show me a couple chords? Or but so then I just kind of, let that go as a goal for a while. And when I think it was about 29 or 30, was when I was like, I still want to do this. And so I picked up an acoustic guitar and just learned a few chords. I was living in France at the time, so I started playing a little bit. Then I had a baby, so that was done for a while. Set the guitar to the side again for a while, and then moved back to the Twin Cities. And funnily enough, it was at a staff meeting I was working at the Guthrie Theater, and we were kind of going around the table saying, "What's your secret ambition?" And mine was, I was like, I want to play kick-ass electric guitar, and I want to play music like the music of the Clash, and with a group of women. And one of my colleagues, who is a good friend of mine, also shared that information with another friend who is a musician and a good friend who's the bassist of Rude Girl. Her name is Jill Bardisell. And she shared that with her, and then Jill was like, "Oh, we should make this happen. Like, Emily's birthday is coming up. Let's like find a gig, and then let her know, like, hey, let's make this band. We have a gig." And so she got us a gig at the Triple Rock.
Okay.
And this was in December 22nd of 2007, which we later learned was the 5-year anniversary of Joe Strummer's death, which was just kind of a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
But anyway, she let me know that, this was like, hey, we got 9 months to, for you to learn guitar, and this is our band. I went to my dad and told him that we were doing this, and he was like, okay, we'll set you up. You're gonna play the Clash. You can borrow my telly, and here's a rat box, and you got to play it through my Marshall amp, and so we worked on the tone, and then he showed me just a few techniques that he was suggesting for certain songs.
Okay.
But other than that, I mostly did kind of learn things on my own. So I knew some chords, learned how to play bar chords, and then the rhythms I felt like were just sort of ingrained in me through listening to that music so much in my youth.
How did you but expand from Rude Girl to the 99ers and
Whale in the Thames?
Whale in the Thames.
So Whale in the Thames came next.
Okay.
I was at a point where I was really enjoying playing the music of the Clash, but I wanted to try writing my own songs. And so again, I went to my dad and to let him know that I was wanting to do this, but I was having a hard time like starting. And he again gave me a few pointers. Told me that, and one of the things he said was, just start playing around with stuff and write anything. Write a bad song, it doesn't matter if it's good or not, but once you get something, things will start moving along. Like you'll get other ideas, you'll get better at it. Eventually you'll hopefully write a good song. And so and I still think that was really good advice, because I did start playing around with that and came up with a couple things, but I was still not quite there. And so talked to him again about it, and he was like, you know what, I've got loads of songs that I've started, I never finished them, either they don't have lyrics yet, or I've got a little riff, but nothing else to go with it. He's like, I've got a few in mind that let's get together and I'll share these song starters with you, and then you can finish them.
Okay.
Then you'll have a start. And then this was it was around Christmas time that he told me that. It would have been Christmas of 2011. And he's like, this is like my Christmas gift to you.
Okay.
I'm going to give you these song starters. I was like, that's great. I was really excited about it. So we're into January, and we're like, okay, so let's do this. Let's set up some time. So it ended up being, we found a Sunday in early February. And I was getting ready that morning to go have our session. I was excited about it. I was getting my coat on, and I get a panicked call from my mom, and she's like, Dad fell, and he's not responding. I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, did you call 911? Is there an ambulance coming? And she's like, yes, the ambulance is coming. So that, I was just super worried. Flew out the door, beat the ambulance to my parents' house, and that was the moment when my dad had his massive stroke.
Yeah.
and it was just so awful, and so emotional, and such a really awful.
Yeah.
I can't explain what a shock that was. So the song starter. So I never got those song starters
Okay.
for that part of the story. But over time, processing that whole experience, I started writing songs. Like I had kind of like floodgates open in a way, just trying to, having that, having your heart ripped out kind of,
Right.
and just all those raw emotions. I ended up writing a string of songs, and one of them I ended up calling Song Starter, which was kind of about the experience.
Yeah.
And I never would have wanted those songs to come to me that way, but in the end, sorry, I'm getting emotional
No.
about it.
It's completely understandable. Yeah. I mean, your dad was clearly a huge influence on you both to, throw you in the deep end of like learn guitar and then show you the tips on the Clash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you're a multi-generational musician. Your daughter's in Surly Girly.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what kind of support did you give her in terms of like getting into music?
Both of our girls were very musical growing up. They were in their school bands. They both played trumpet for a while, and then Eloise, the older one, she also played violin.
Mm-hmm.
And then our younger daughter, Dre, she plays piano. Both of the girls grew up hearing us do band practice, and because our practice space is in our basement. And then we were just really supportive of them playing music. So Eloise went off to college. She went to Earlham College in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And while she was there, she connected with a friend who was actually the daughter of some of our longtime friends, and they used to live in the Twin Cities. And the two girls got to be, they were like toddler friends,
Right.
when we would get together with their parents, and this was Maeve McNamara, who was the founder of Surly Girly. Eloise, was interested in just supporting supporting the band, but then they were looking for either a bass player or a guitar player, or possibly both, and so Eloise kind of raised her hand because she had started playing, messing around with the guitar before. She just started kind of jamming with them, I think, and ended up joining them, and just made huge progress really quickly, and became, was playing lead guitar with them and things like that. So she's way surpassed my skills already, that's for sure.
Let's talk about the 99ers. How'd that come about?
Yeah, so the 99ers, that was, Whale in the Thames played a gig with the 99ers. After the gig, well, we really enjoyed seeing the 99ers, and they afterwards told us they really liked our stuff too, and some of the songs that I write for Whale in the Thames are in French, and they're inspired by French punk bands that I like. So Steven in the 99ers, he really liked the French punk rock stuff, and his wife is a French speaker. He's British originally, but grew up in England, and was like an actual 1977 British punk rocker himself. But he approached me not too long after that show and was like, "Hey, would you be willing to do like a cameo appearance with us and sing a song in French with us? Because we would love to incorporate some French punk rock into what we do." So I was flattered, and I was like, "Oh, cool. sure, I'll do that. And then as we got closer to the time that I'm trying to remember if it was before the first practice I had with them or after, they were like, well, we're actually looking for a guitar player too, and like we kind of would like a permanent additional band member.
Okay.
And so I went to a few practices and was like, this is a lot of fun. They're great musicians, and the songs are catchy and fun, and so that's how I ended up playing with them.
Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. This was a great interview, and come back soon.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thanks for all you're doing.
All right.
I see people on the street and I wonder
Welcome back. It's time for our most anticipated segment of the show, upcoming shows. Paul, what are you looking forward to?
Well, while I fear the arrival of the state fair, which means impending winter, I am looking forward to a lot of the local acts that are playing the state fair at the free show. Run Westy Run is playing. I know Kiss the Tiger is playing a couple of stages, so I think that'll be really fun.
Claire, is there any show at the state fair or elsewhere that you're looking forward to?
There are a few, Pete. Thank you for asking.
That's what I'm here for.
And we appreciate it. So August 19th and 20th, there's a punk rock doubleheader going on at the Eagles Club in Minneapolis. Bands like Bad Idea and Fret Rattles are playing, so that's going to be awesome. Also, at the State Fair, Dillinger 4, The Hold Steady, and Bob Mould are playing on September 2nd. And everybody should go see it. It's also on my birthday.
And I was going to say, it's a big day for other reasons, too.
It is.
We can bring cake.
Yeah, you could. I'll be like 28 again. It's going to be
It's
awesome.
going to be so good.
I am looking forward to seeing Nerdy at the Dakota on August 20th with Mayada.
And playing us out is one of my favorite local bands, Monica LaPlante.